So I've had my 2016 Challenger RT Scat Pack for a few days now, and I have to say that I'm very pleased with this purchase. I ended up trading in a 2013 Dodge Challenger RT, and that car was amazing. There was no complaints on my end. I really liked how that car got up and went. I liked the handling, I liked the steering, I liked how everything in the car just felt solid. Then I purchased this car, and it's like night and day. The 6.4 liter puts out a little over 100 more horsepower than the 5.7. And you know, normally I'm like, oh, that's not that big of a difference. And then you get in it and it's just like, wow, that is a big difference. And another big difference is how it handles, and not just how it goes in the road, or not how it goes into the curves, but just how it rides down the road when you are getting on it and you're shifting through the gears. Just how you don't have the huge nose dive or the rear dive, and it just feels solid. It feels sturdy and safe. That has to do with the upgraded suspension. Now, if I read this correctly, it's not the SRT suspension. However, it is an upgraded suspension, just like you don't have the SRT brakes on the Scat Pack, but you do have some beefy Brembo brakes that are slotted and vented and all that other good stuff. So with that said, so far this car is just like my 2013 Challenger RT Plus, and I know there's already a Plus model, but that's what this car just reminds me of. One of the few things that I was kind of worried about was the cup holders. Now, I do a decent amount of driving, and I like to have something in my cup holders, a drink, you know, whatever, my little vaping devices or whatever. And one of the things that I was a little worried about was looking at the pictures online. It looked like the cup holders were right in the way, and I got a manual shift, and it's like, I don't want my cups in the way of my shift in. But when I went to the dealership, one of the first things I did was I pulled the 32-ounce drink out of my old Challenger, and I put it in this Challenger when I went and did the test drive. And the guy was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm putting my cup in here." It's like, dude, if these cup holders aren't right, I'm not gonna buy this car. And he's like, all right. So I ended up putting the cup in there, and I drove, and I'll say this, they're not in the way, but yet they are. Now you're thinking, Dan, Merv, that's ridiculous. How can they be in the way and not be in the way at the same time? Well, when I say they're in the way but they're not in the way, is you can work around it. I mean, it's not even that big of a deal. Like in the farthest right cup holder, when you're shifting through the gear, if you have like a 20-ounce drink or even a 20-ounce or a 32-ounce and you're driving, it really doesn't get in the way. So, you know, it's just kind of how you put your arm on the armrest. And as far as them being in the most left cup holder on the center console, that one, it's a little bit more iffy, but they sit so low that like even the 32-ounce drink, your forearm either goes right over it or right to the side of it, and it's really not that big of a deal. And me being a cup holder picky person, you know, I bought the car, so they have to work at least a little bit. And I think if anybody is going to be nitpicking about cup holders, it's going to be this guy here. So another thing about cup holders is there's, on each door, there's a little cup holder, and it's just big enough for 20-ounce soda, Right now I have, I'm not branding here, but I have my Starbucks vanilla frappuccino, which is delicious. No, really, I'm not branding. And it fits right here in the door. And so then I have my Red Bull, which I know what you're thinking, Merv, you're not even going to be able to like finish this video because you're going to have a heart attack. And it's like, dude, relax. I'm going to have a heart attack next week. I'll have time to finish the video. It's not that big of a deal. So as far as like the technology goes, I am super impressed. The dash cluster, and I'll put some video, or I'll put some pictures up here. But as far as like the dash cluster, I couldn't have asked for a cleaner, better looking dash cluster. I like the smooth digital look of like the speedometer when it's in digital mode, and it just sits right there, right in the center. It's easy to read, it's in your face. If you were an old person, and by old person I mean older than me, that needs glasses, you could probably take your glasses off and still read the digital readout. Now with the other stuff, maybe not, but like the G-force settings where you can see how much G-force is being put on the left, right, front, and rear, the fuel economy, the way that stuff's set up, it's just, I don't necessarily want to say that it's 100% effective or viable or whatever. I mean, it gives you the information that you need, obviously, but it is set up very neat, and it is, at a minimum, excuse me, I'm like burping all over and I'm hiccuping and coughing, and I'm sorry, but at a minimum, it's at least pretty to look at. The speedometer on the Scat Pack reads 180. You know I haven't made it go 180 for all you people out there that are going to ask. I know there's at least one of you. No, I have not made it go 180. Now, the numbers are kind of reminiscent back to like the 1971, 1970 Challenger. And hey, there's another Challenger and a girl driving it. Go girl Challenger drivers. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, the digital readout. No, I was not. I was saying the speedometer. See what happens. Challenger drives by, I get sidetracked. And yes, so the numbers, I really like the font that they use, and it's just real pretty. The needle that is, you know, the little needle that says how fast you're going, it glows. And you know, maybe I'm being a little silly or whatever, but I just think it's neat. Like I said, it's very easy to look at. The aesthetics are very nice. Now, as far as like the Uconnect 8.4 screen, yeah, that thing is just cool. Now, I got the 8.4 without the navigation, but lucky me, if I want to go to Uconnect, or at least, what is it, like navigation or whatever, I'll look up the little website. One of the guys from the forums posted a web page, and you just go on there and you can purchase the nav download, and right there off the interwebs, and it'll download to your Uconnect device. And for those of you with the 8.4 that don't have nav, you can get nav. The online price, I think, was like $595, and I know what you're thinking, Merv, that's like crazy amounts of money. But guess what? It's not really compared to like a brand new Garmin, which sure, you could take the Garmin out of a car and then put it like in another car, and you really can't do that with the Uconnect because you know, you'd have to be like tear it into the dash. But I digress. Well, the point is, it's really, in the grand scheme of things, you just bought at a bare minimum, bare bones, a $38,000 car. This one is closer to mid 40s range, but that's neither here nor there. The apps, I was a little disappointed with the apps. Like, I listen to, because I drive a lot, I listen to audiobooks while I'm driving so I don't go to sleep. And I was a little disappointed that like Audible wasn't on there, you know, and you can't download it, you can't purchase it. At least not that I'm aware of it yet. I will look into that a little bit more. I'm not done with my research on it. But, you know, you got like Aha and Yelp and Pandora and Slacker, and all those are like, most of those anyway, besides maybe Yelp, are like radio apps. It's like, well, it comes with Sirius satellite radio. And yes, it does come with channel 314 for you heavy metal, easy listener peoples. Yes, it does come with turbo, and it is awesome. And it's like, why would I listen to any other channel? Because that channel just rocks, like, all the time. I haven't been like, oh, that band's okay. It's been like, hells yeah, there's some Tool. Hells yeah, there's some Pantera. Oh my God, what's this? We have Old School Corn. That's awesome. Anyways, again, I digress. I do that a lot. I apologize. So the climate controls, all your climate controls, you can either do on the 8.4 Uconnect system, or you can do it manually. I'm kind of a manually person. The only thing I don't think you can do manually, and again, I could be wrong, is your heated seats, and your heated steering wheel. Which, whatever. How hard is that to hit climate and then press a couple buttons on your screen, and then it's good to go and you're done. Another thing I like about this whole dealio is the sport mode, which is awesome. It's noticeable. Basically, if you know what you're looking for, it's noticeable. Like, some people are like, oh, I'll put it in sport, you'll get more horsepower. No, you don't get more horsepower with sport mode. You get throttle response. And the reason you don't get throttle response when you're out of sport mode is to save a little bit of gas. And is it a lot? No, but if you drive a car 200,000 miles, you're probably going to save yourself a couple $100 by keeping it out of sport mode. So when you put it in sport mode, then you're going to get better throttle response. You can customize it to where you get the throttle response, you get the stiffer steering, the sports suspension steering, and it takes it right out. And it's not like a brick when you're trying to get out, like, oh, I got to turn this, but you can feel it. And that's so when you're cruising down the road or whatever and you're hitting those curves, you're not jerking the wheel, and so it gives a little bit more stability to it while you're hot rodding it and you're hitting those corners. Another thing that it can do, and again, you can turn this on or off, is when you hit sport mode, it turns your traction control off. Me personally, I don't like the loss of power. I like to control power in my clutch, which is why I got the 6-speed car. But with that said, it's got launch controls. And the launch controls in this are really cool. Unfortunately, I only have 382 miles on my car, and I can't use my launch controls until I hit 500 miles, and then the computer will automatically activate it to where I can use it. But the launch control is slick. Basically, all you do is put your launch control on. You set and it's a preset. It's not like you have to hit launch control and do it. No, you just hit your launch control at a stop, and you have it at a preset, and the max you can go, I think, is 3,000, maybe 2,500 RPMs. I think it's 3,000. And you push in the clutch, and when you push in the clutch, you press in the gas, and your engine will rev up to 25,000 or 2,500 RPMs, whatever it is that you have it set on, and then it will stay there. I mean, you can put it to the floor, and you don't have to worry about feathering the pedal or rolling into the pedal. It's just there. And if you know how well your tires hook up, you can adjust that up or down or whatever. And basically, you come out of the clutch. Now, from what I've read, you don't dump the clutch, but you don't let it out slow either. So it's like right there in that little bit of medium. And hold on one second. We're still good. So you want to let it out about a medium speed, and what it does is that computer is getting all this information from the car, and it's trying to keep you going straight with the least amount of wheel hop or wheel spin as possible, which gives you an amazing launch. I can't wait to do it. And it's going to be awesome, but again, I have like 120 miles to put on here before I can even use mine. But oh well. I am a big music guy, so the fact that I can listen to music right off my phone, awesome. I can download music to an SD card, and I can plug it into the SD card slot. Yes, SD card slot in the car. Unfortunately, from what I read, it's only compatible up to a 32 gigabyte, but I think I only have like 34 gigabytes of music, and I don't listen to all of it, so 32 is fine. But I haven't done that yet. Again, I've only had the car since Wednesday, and it's now Saturday. And it's got an auxiliary jack, so if your Bluetooth on your phone's broke, or you have an old iPod and it doesn't have Bluetooth, then you can go ahead and just plug it into the auxiliary jack. Or if you have any other device that doesn't have Bluetooth, you can still use your media that way. So that's a plus. There is an in-car, on the Uconnect system, there is a complete user's manual that tells you everything that you need to know about your car, which I think is baller. I may be a little jaded because I love this car. And the funny thing, just so you don't say, oh, Merv, Dan, you're like such a Mopar Dodge guy. I'm not. I am not a Dodge guy at all. I traditionally have owned Camaros, and I love Camaros, but I'm also 6'4", and I'm 263 pounds. I am not a small man. And getting in and out of a Camaro, especially the new ones, they seem a little tight to me, and if they have a sunroof, my head literally touches the bottom of the sunroof with their seat all the way down. Now, this is a Challenger without a sunroof, but my seat's not all the way on the floor, and I have, a fist width before I scrape my head on the ceiling. And the arm room, the seat is not even all the way back. I have like 2 inches from the seat from my seat to the back seat, which, don't get me wrong, nobody's going to fit behind me, but I'm driving by myself. I am like stretched out like in a lazy boy here, and it's awesome. I have a 500 horsepower car, and I'm sitting in a lazy boy. That is just straight, again, it's baller. You hear me? Baller. The room in here is it's just ridiculous, and the feel of like all the leather and like the seats and the steering wheel, it feels well made. It's not cheap, and it doesn't look cheap. The dash looks like it's made from like some really serious stuff, and like even like the bezeling and stuff like that. It's like this one's like a polished nickel or polished aluminum. I don't know, but and then it's got like this matte kind of carbon fiber look, and it just looks great. I mean, it looks and feels great. And one of the things that I hate when you like have a car for a couple years and like you're using the buttons on the steering wheel, like your cruise control, and your thumb somehow rubs it off. I mean, you could sit there with a Brillo pad when you first get it and scrub it and it's not coming off, but you drive a car for 3 years and your thumb just pressing it every once in a great while, it's like, I'm just going to come right off there, and then you're looking at your buttons and there's nothing on there, and it's like, that pisses me off. I had that 2013 Challenger, do the math, it's 2016, it was a 13, I bought it in 2013, there you go, you're getting it. So I had it for almost 3 years, and the buttons on the steering wheel look brand new. Now, I can't say whether or not the Camaro or the Mustang, I don't know, because I haven't owned the new ones. So, but like on the older Camaros, it's like after you had the car 6 months, it's like I don't even know what my buttons do because I've thumbed them all off. And yeah. So, oh, another thing, this is kind of funny. It's not really informative, but it's kind of funny. At least to me, it was funny. The dealership guy told me that there's, okay, so like next to your sport button, there is the hazard lights, your emergency lights, not like cop emergency lights, but like your hazard, the ones that flash, lets people know that you're in trouble or that you're on the side of the road, so don't run you over. But next to that, there's a button that says back. And this has a backup camera in it. So you put it in reverse and it has a backup camera. But he told me if you press that, you can look out your rear view camera button. I'm getting it. And we're just going to ignore that one. Which that isn't the case at all. When you have pop-up menus come up on your Uconnect screen and it's not the screen you wanted, instead of like going through like hitting the apps button, hitting favorite apps or whatever, all you do is hit the back button and it takes you back to the screen before. I thought that was kind of cute. What do I know? Maybe it's not that funny at all, but it was to me. So I guess my point is, don't always believe everything your dealer tells you. My guy was actually really cool, just maybe a little misled. So I'm not going to dime you out, dude. So if you're watching this, it's our secret. Nobody knows it was you. So stereo system. This has got the Alpine 2 stereo system in it. Again, I love music. So in my other Challenger, I had some Memphis Audio subwoofers. They were aftermarket put in there. Nothing ridiculous, just enough to where you can feel the bass a little bit more. This stock with just the regular Alpine system, it's got really good sound, and there is a little bit of bass already in the speakers. If you really want sound, what is it, the Cardone or whatever it is, I don't even know what it's called, but that's probably the one to get. I haven't heard it. I've heard that it is good, but these Alpine speakers, they do the trick for now. I'll put my other subs in here eventually one of these days, and then everything will be happy. What else do I want to tell you? Super Track Pack. I'm going to save that for another video. I've already made this video long enough, so make sure that you like and subscribe, and look forward for some more videos. Hopefully we can get this thing out on the track here soon, and we'll post some of those videos and talk about the do's and don'ts of that. So here's me saying see you later, and you guys drive safe.